everyone, and thank you for taking the time to watch our presentation. This presentation is centered around the analysis of Omaha, Nebraska's public transportation accessibility, specifically in relation to income level and racial distribution. Now, let me first introduce us as a group. The members of our research group include Sixto, Mauricio, Aaronn, and myself, Cece. With all of us being residents of the Omaha metro area, we are especially interested in analyzing the effectiveness and accessibility of Omaha's transportation system, known collectively as Metro. I myself am extremely involved in researching the effectiveness of mass transportation systems all across America, and have had the chance to travel to other major cities such as Minneapolis, New York, Salt Lake City, and more to study their public transportation systems and their effectiveness and popularity. Now, first, before we dive further into the analysis of the Omaha Metro, let's first do a thinking exercise. Imagine you have just finished a long day at work. Maybe you dealt with difficult customers, gave an important presentation you've been working on for months, or got in trouble with your supervisor. After your long day, the only place you want to be is at home, on your couch, enjoying your evening. But wait, something stands in your way still. What could that be? Bam! 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 Rush hour traffic. A majority of the city's population all on the road at the same exact time. Who wouldn't want to wait through all of rush hour traffic after a tiring day at work? Almost everyone. At least we are yet to come across an individual who actually likes driving through rush hour traffic. Speaking from my personal experience of living in Omaha and, like most residents, commuting to work, I can say that I truly hate driving in rush hour traffic. Like most large American cities, a vast majority of Omaha residents are commuters, meaning they take their own car to and from work every single day. As a result of this, most of Metro's ridership comes from lower income residents who are not able to afford a car. Since the infrastructure of Omaha is geared towards cars and commuting, this all but forces those without a car to rely solely on Metro. Let's take a look at Metro's mission and vision statement as of 2022. So what we see here, their mission is to connect people, places, and opportunities through quality transit services. And their vision is that they strive to be a valued transportation choice for all members of the community. So that part of the statement right there is what inspired this entire project. So based on this statement, it seems that Metro strives to move away from only providing service to lower income areas, making public transportation more accessible to high and middle income areas. As a group, we were interested in analyzing the truth behind this statement. Is it true that all levels of income could be seeing an improvement in public transportation accessibility? Or is public transit still geared towards those lower income areas?
To answer this question, we established our main research question being, is the frequency of bus stops in Omaha correlated with income level? We can begin to answer this question by analyzing the location of all Metro bus stops in service during the year of 2022. For our analysis, we used two datasets, both dividing Douglas County, the main county in which Metro operates, into its census tracts for data collection. Therefore, we grouped the city of Omaha into census tract groups when looking at income level. Our first dataset, medium income per census tract, contains valuable information for each tract, such as medium income level, total population, and the total number of Black, White, Asian, and Hispanic residents. To start, let's look at the population distribution of Omaha compared to the spread of bus stops, and keep in mind Metro's mission and vision statements. Specifically, the yellow highlighted portion emphasized all members of our community everywhere.
With that in mind, based on our first data set, this is the population distribution of Douglas County, divided by census tracts. This map visualizes the total population distributed across the city. The varying shades represent differences in population density, providing a clear depiction of how the population is spread across the city. The lighter shades reflect a lower population density, ranging from about 1 to 2,000 residents, while the darker shades indicate higher population densities, getting closer to 7,000 and higher. So based on this graph, it's clear how Omaha's population is fairly spread out, even though East Omaha contains a busy downtown region. Now let's take a look at the data from our second data set containing all Metro bus stops in service during the year of 2022. This map visualizes the total count of bus stops across the city. The darker shades represent areas with higher number of bus stops going up to 50 and above, while the lighter shades indicate regions with fewer stops going to as low as 10 to no bus stops at all. From the graph, we can observe that bus stops are more concentrated in the eastern and central parts of the city, as indicated by the darker shading. In contrast, the western and peripheral regions show much lighter shading, indicating fewer bus stops. It's clear that the shading in this graph is more concentrated in specific areas compared to the first map, which had a more spread out distribution of the population shading across the city. So flipping between these two visualizations, it looks like the spread of bus stops doesn't necessarily reflect the total population of an area. But as of right now, that is just a visual observation. In order to actually answer the research question, we must perform a quantitative analysis comparing the number of bus stops to the income level of every region.
We chose to compare income with bus stop frequency through a linear regression model where the correlation coefficient was negative 0.57. So in simple terms, we found evidence that there's a strong relationship between the amount of bus stops in a census tract and the income level of that census tract. Moreover, this relationship is negative, meaning that as the income level increases, the number of bus stops will decrease. From this, we can gather that Metro is still showing bias towards placing bus stops in areas with lower income, contradicting their vision statement of providing services to the entire community. Additionally, thanks to the diversity of the data present in dataset 1, we had the opportunity to analyze the spread of bus stops in relation to the population of different racial groups in each census tract. Again, we chose a linear regression model to visualize this relationship. So taking a look at the results, there doesn't seem to be a noticeable trend between white, Asian, and Hispanic. Based on the correlation coefficients from each linear model, we did not find evidence that there is any relationship between white, Asian, and Hispanic populations and the number of bus stops within a census tract.
Interestingly, when looking at the black scatter plot, here's a closer look. We found that the correlation coefficient was 0.36, which means that we can say there's a slight positive relationship between the total black population per census tract and the number of bus stops. So as the black population increases in a census tract, we would also expect the total amount of bus stops in that census tract to increase as well. This phenomenon most likely points to Omaha's difficult racial history, most likely resultant of events such as redlining, race riots, and other discriminatory practices. Now, someone might be tempted to ask, are we just picking on Metro? Based on the results of our analysis, one could say that Metro is doing a great job of providing transportation to lower income individuals who are truly in need of it compared to richer areas out west who own cars and have a reliable mode of transportation. But does this pattern really help lower income residents? If you think about it, this area that receives virtually no bus service is filled with businesses, business parks, all places of employment that lower income individuals who rely on Metro are essentially cut off from. If bus stops are only put in places of lower income, then the riders are in turn limited in the jobs that they can apply for because they are unable to reach jobs in different areas that have higher income and don't receive any bus service. So this pattern is not very beneficial for lower income riders. In addition, Public transportation is not just a band-aid for those suffering from the absence of a car in car-dependent areas, but also a critical tool for reducing negative environmental impact, supporting economic growth, and promoting social inclusion by ensuring mobility for all socioeconomic groups. This is allegedly the very mission that Metro aims to fulfill. So we don't mean to pick on Metro. The main goal of this study was simply to shine light on the shortcomings of the current system with hopes that it can be used to further improve the system and create a future in Omaha where all residents are provided with efficient and accessible public transportation. And maybe even in a perfect future, no more rush hour traffic. Thank you for listening to our presentation.